There you go. What up, Dolphins? Welcome to the Dive Bar. I'm your host, Tony, 2 times. Chicky with the blicky. Got a nice little glass of cognac, and yeah, what a game, huh? It's Christmas Eve. You got the Dolphins on. And did they leave us a lump of coal like they did when they played Green Bay last year? No, buddy. They beat Dallas at the Rock, 22-20. Miami wins it on a Jason Sanders field goal, 29-yard field goal, basically an extra point for Sanders. Dude was perfect on the night, man. He went 5 for 5 on field goals, and let me tell you, Miami needed every single one of them. All right, because they only had one touchdown in the game. But Sanders, he starts off like 57, then he goes 52, 54, 35, and then ends it with a 29-yarder. So, I mean, he's gotten a lot of flack for his leg, but he never lost confidence in himself. And come on, that was beyond clutch, because when you need him, when you're playing the game against the top defense and your offense can't score touchdowns, you need a guy that can give you points whenever he's called upon. And Jason Sanders did that today. Mad respect. So, in tune with that, only the one touchdown on offense today. Points weren't hard for them to come by. It was just, it was just an off day for the offense, in my opinion, Tua was having accuracy problems all game, even on the touchdown that they hit before halftime where he threw it to Raheem Mostert. Mostert was wide open on the left side of the field, and Tua put that ball like outside. I mean, he basically didn't have to dive for it, but he really had to stretch for it, kind of like bopped it up just to be able to get a good grip on it and get the touchdown. Tua was missing guys, open guys on third down. He was just putting it low when it should have went a little higher. I mean, it wasn't his best game, and it could have something to do with the offensive line. They do have 4 starters out. They got 4 backups playing. It just could. I don't think it's nerves, but it was just a little off. But they still won, and that's the beautiful thing, is that this was what that Tennessee game should have been. Was you can show that, hey, we're not playing our best football, but we can still grind out a victory. And especially against a top team like Dallas. I mean, they got top 10 defense. Offense is doing all right. Been falling off a little bit in the last few weeks here or there, it seems. But, hey, we caught them at the right time, and we were able to beat them. Tua in that game does go 24 for 37 and 293 and the 1 touchdown to Mostert. Potentially could have had another touchdown, but the long ball didn't work. Cheetah just couldn't adjust to it mid-flight, and it was like one of the very rare miscues on the season, because the long ball has been like one of their bread and butter plays. They've been killing it on that play. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We've got 2 weeks left. Offense is going to have to find ways to score, and you're going to have to do it without, Waddle for, injuries was a part of the game. These guys are playing so beat up. Everybody's so hurt. And you have 2 physical teams coming, where you're going to Baltimore, but you had 2 physical teams coming up on your schedule. And you got guys that are barely hanging on. I mean, Waddle, unfortunately, he had 1 catch today, like 59 yards. It was like the next play. So after Hill misjudges the ball, they go right back to the other side. They get Waddle for 50. And unfortunately, that's his only catch, because then later he suffers a sprain, and then he's out. He's out for the game. He doesn't play at all in the 4th quarter. So, he could be looking to miss a little bit of time. Don't know his diagnosis, or his timetable yet. but we shall see. Hoping for the best. But like I said, with the O line, sure they're in shambles. The running game, they couldn't really get it going, but I mean they did, work with the scraps that they were given. They were making miracles on Christmas Eve because they only allowed one sack. Plenty of pressures. Don't get me wrong, they had plenty of pressures, and like the one sack came on like a crucial third down, I think, late in the game. But other than that, I mean, they're holding strong. These guys are limping. They're going to be limping into the playoffs, but we're still going to be there, and that gives us a shot. And this is why this Baltimore game is so important coming up because you're playing potentially for the 1 seed and getting that week off. Sometimes that week off messes with teams. You get a little too lax, but I think the week off for Miami would be perfect in a sense because they can just get some rest. Red zone offense, still needs work. I mean, you get down there, you get a fourth and goal, you're at you're within the 5. Miami goes for it, which they pretty much always do, and can't get it. This is like the best team in the red zone, but the points have been hard to come by lately in said red zone. With everything going on in the receiver side of the ball, with Waddle getting hurt, and with Tyreek, that ankle still not up to 100%, probably not even up to like 85-90%. But ancillary pieces step up, right? Everybody on this team has a role, and they know their role, and they excel in their role, and they execute. And when they can execute, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. You got Durham Smythe, the tight end, on a position on a team that doesn't use it very often. They are old school with it. Like, they like those guys to block. Durham Smythe's out there getting 5 catches for 56 yards, making tough catches and getting first downs and, putting the shoulder to people. Robbie Chosen gets 1 catch for 19 yards. It's a great catch, really helped us, but unfortunately he got hurt on the play. He goes into concussion protocol, and there was no doubt about it. I mean, when you watch the replay, it looked like Jimmy Butler was out there dribbling a basketball, man. That poor guy's head just bounced off that grass a couple of times, and he had to come out. And you could tell when he stood up. I mean, he looked like he had a little too much coquito because that poor guy was stumbling and he just wasn't in good shape. So all the best to him. Hope it's a speedy recovery because they could use that speed in the coming weeks. But it's not all bad about the offense. I mean, they still did enough, right? And their 2-minute offense at the end of the first half was excellent, going down, scoring a touchdown. But that 4-minute offense to end the football game, they had the ball with like 3 and change left. I mean, they executed that drive to perfection. I mean, it's something that we've been wanting to see them do all year, but to see them do it consistently, without going down there, maybe scoring too quick, or without the drive breaking down, or you got to go for it on 4th down like once or twice on that drive. That don't happen. They get 3rd and short, 3rd and a few here, and Jeff Wilson Jr., I mean, he's a Texas kid, and, he ran the ball like he had something to prove, because he wasn't getting a lot of shine this season. I mean, it was the most certain A-Chan show. And, geez, I think even Savon Ahmed was getting more love than Wilson Jr. But, when he got his chance, he ran hard. He got us crucial first downs in that game, enough to get down there and for Miami to be able to ice it, before and then go kick the field goal. So the run game wasn't there all day. Like, it wasn't there enough, per se. I think Mostert only had like 11 carries, so maybe 43 to 46 yards or whatever. Nate Chan had 7 carries in like the 20s and 24. But when it counted, they found a way. And they took time off the clock. They made Dallas kill their timeouts, and then they went down, converted, got first downs, and then was able to go and kick the game-winning field goal. You wanted to see it versus Tennessee in that crucial drive where they got the ball back, their second to last drive, they go 3 and out, and then going for it on 4th down the next drive, and Tua stumbling and fumbling. Not this week, game on the line. They weren't doing anything crazy. They weren't really airing it out too much. There was no risky throws. They just, they just moved the ball down the field. They chewed up time. They chewed up yards. I mean, they were moving the ball well all game, right? But it was just like once it got to like the 50, once you crossed the 50, you got to like the 40/35 of the other team. And they just couldn't go nowhere after that. And that's why they had to settle for so many field goals. But moving the ball from their end to the other, I mean, it was money all night. They were able to get huge chunks, huge swaths of yards like it was nothing, and it's because of those guys, man, Smythe and Tyreek, Tyreek Cheetah. Other than that one catch other than that one drop, that one miss, I mean, he goes 9 for 99. Talking about that run game though, like how it didn't average out. I mean, you saw the way that Buffalo played Dallas, right? And they had like over 200 yards. Like their one running back had like a $176, just like one guy. So you would think it maybe Miami be looking to replicate that success, but they couldn't. But that's okay. Defense, man, they're the fourth ranked defense in the league right now. They are almost an immaculate defense. The only thing is Vic Fangio's a little too old school and a little too stubborn and headstrong in his ways sometimes, where he doesn't want to put his best defensive back on their best wide receiver. And, we saw a few times, CeeDee Lamb, especially on that second drive or whatever it was, where the guy just, he got like just a ton of yards on the one drive and like two catches because, they had like Kohu or Needham or somebody else on him that, it wasn't cutting it. But, other than X-Man in the secondary he had perfect position on the one pass. And he could have had a bat down, an interception, what have you. But instead, he got mossed on it. He just didn't jump high enough, right? So, like, other than that and a couple of shoddy penalties especially on third down, like Christian Wilkins picked up what I want to say a BS roughing the passer. Basically Dak pulled Wilkins onto him, and they threw the flag, giving him free 15, a free first down. And then Miami in the secondary, by the end zone, they had like two guys commit pass interference or defensive holding, like in the end zone on Dallas on their last scoring drive. Clean these things up and have Ramsey covering their best receiver. I know that Fangio made good adjustments, but if you could start off the game knowing that, hey, these are the guys that can really hurt you, so I'm going to put my best, most talented on these guys, and let's do it. Once they can figure that part out, this defense could creep its way, to the number one position if they're so inclined, because these guys can ball, man. Like the pass rush today was there. They were getting home. They were getting to their face. Van Ginkel, dude, had like 10 tackles and friggin' 1.5 sacks. He had 4 hits on the quarterback, 4 rushes. And Dak is an elusive guy. So to be able to get to him is just phenomenal. Van Ginkel, that dude balls. And, of course he missed Phillips, but this guy doesn't miss a beat, Van Ginkel. Then Bradley Chubb, another monster game. He gets another sack and a half to his total. And then Zach Sealer on the line gets another one. And just the 4 guys that are rushing the passer, sometimes 5. Duke Riley got in there too. Dak just barely got that dang ball off. Or like Duke Riley came unscathed, untouched, and put a hit on him, And but you got to figure out how to stop, They figured out how to stop Dak. Of course, he can scramble a little bit, get some yards here, there. You're not going to stop him all the time. But, these elusive guys, these hard-to-tackle quarterbacks, they just got to, just finish the hit, which they've been able to do for the most part. And that defense is just swarming. It's getting better and better and better as the weeks go on. And, Jalen Ramsey was a catalyst because when he came back, it's like everything just kind of like clicked into place, locked in, and these guys just started like going insane, right? Like I mentioned, Chubb, he had 1.5 with the sacks, but he also had 3 quarterback hits on the day, so it was just constant pressure on Dak, right? So what's next? Now that our Christmas is going to be even more merry and bright, how are we going to go into the new year, right? Miami's next game is their last road game. If they can find a way, this could potentially be their last road game of the season. Of not just the regular season, but hopefully the postseason too. Because this next game is in Baltimore. Forget everything you learned in that academy. This Baltimore, they got to play that crazy team whose defense is like the number one and number two defense in the league. And those guys, I mean, I can't wait to see how they fare against San Francisco on Christmas night. Hopefully San Fran gives us a nice gift. But, I mean, that defense is good. And that Lamar, I mean, he might be the most dangerous out of the quarterbacks that we've played this year. Especially, from the elusive kind of guy. Because, I mean, think about it. Like, we played Philly. We played a big, strong, hard-to-tackle guy. Played KC. That guy, whenever a play breaks down, he can just use those feet or, just get a crazy pass off at the nick of time. Played Dallas with that. Played Buffalo, Josh Allen, another guy that's able to make you miss the sack and just irritate the hell out of you, gain a bunch of yards. And even Tennessee with that Levis kid, I mean, he was able to duck a few sacks and go and get yards and stuff. So we played guys that are elusive and guys that are hard to tackle, And Lamar, I mean, the guy's having an MVP season, so you got to figure out a way to be able to stop him. So the secondary has to be disciplined. The line has to be disciplined. You can't overshoot your gaps. You have to have lane discipline. You have to, I don't know if they're gonna do much spies. They're not gonna blitz him too much because, I mean, he can eat out the blitz, or he sees it coming one side, he'll just take off to the other side and run 15, 20 yards. Like, he's gonna get his. You're not gonna be able to stop him all game, right? But you're gonna have to be able to stop him in clutch situations, in key situations. You're gonna have to be able to pressure him with the front four and keep tight coverage. This is one of those games where guys are going to freelance those routes a little bit just to buy him some time because Miami's pass rush can get there. So let's see, but we got to get out of this game healthy too. I don't know if we're going to have Waddle. May not. They might give him the week off the same way that they gave Tyreek the week off last week. So, ancillary guys are going to have to step up. Claypool, I mean, he's going to have to be our red zone target guy. Berrios is going to have to get some love from the slot with his speed. Other guys are going to have to step up this game against a top defense. The running game is going to have to find a way against this top defense because Baltimore can move the ball. They can score. They got a lot of Miami in them, right? So, I mean, this is the nitty gritty. This is like not necessarily all the marbles, right? Because Miami can beat Baltimore, but then they can, screw it up by losing to Buffalo in the last week, and if Baltimore gets the W, then they'll take that one seed. But listen, it's literally, this is for the tiebreaker. It's within our grasp. Like, if you don't want no more road games, you got to take care of business on this last road game. You have to. Not even thinking about in the future, in another week or two, when the Bills come to town for the last game of the season. We'll cross that bridge. We'll eat that chicken wing when it comes here. I know guys are banged up. I know guys are trying to get healthy, and it really sucks when you're banged up to play a team that's very physical. But, this is finding it within yourself. This is we're going to learn. We've been learning a lot about this team. We know a lot about this team, but we're really going to learn. We're really going to see how bad they want it, how well they can execute and just get it done. We're talking seeding. We're talking playoffs. We need these games, man. We need these games if we want that one seed. But we already clinched. We're in there. But you gotta show up because you can't be losing to Baltimore, and then you can't crap the bed versus Buffalo. Then this amazing season we've had, got 11 wins on it already. But one more loss could literally put you in the wild card instead of even winning the division, especially in the season we thought Buffalo was dead in the water. You know, you look at that game versus the Giants that just the Giants let slip through their fingers, and a couple other games. I mean, even the Chargers had a chance to beat the Bills. So we got to take advantage. Like we can only do our job. Miami, the Finns can only do their job. They got to take care of their business. So this thing gets to the conclusion that we're all hoping that it could be. Well, I'm about finished with my drink, which means I'm going to be finished with this video. Also, man, them Dolphins look so good in those throwbacks, right? Look so good in those throwbacks. But anyway, I'll see you. We'll have another drink. We'll yap after the Ravens game. Once again, this has been the Dolphins Dive Bar. Thanks for coming around. And hey, let's celebrate Christmas a good way. Miami beat the Cowboys.